Welcome back, everybody, to another beer review. We're going to take a look at one today from MadTree Brewing. This is the BlackTart. This one was actually one that came out to celebrate Cincinnati Beer Week here in 2015, and it's actually a kind of unique one that is actually brewed with 15 breweries. So on a can, you have a list of all the different breweries that participated in the making of this beer. So that included obviously MadTree, Bad Tom Smith, Blank Slate, Cellar Dweller, Christian Moorline, 8 Ball, 50 West, Listerman, Moorline Lagerhouse, Mount Carmel, Old Firehouse, Rheingeist, Rivertown, Rock Bottom, and Triple Digit. That's a lot of collaboration taking place there. BlackTart Stout is a collaborative effort among 15 Cincinnati, Ohio breweries as part of the celebration during Cincinnati Beer Week. Each star represents our individual breweries. Together they represent a partnership between some of the finest craft breweries in our state. An amalgamation of breweries, a dichotomous combination of flavors, tart and refreshing yet full-bodied and malty. It's not black magic, it's BlackTart. So this is one I've actually had a few times, but I've never reviewed it. So I'm going to do that here. 8% ABV, so it's got a nice little kick with it. One you could actually cellar for a little bit of time. 18 IBUs, so we're not going to get all hoppiness. It's expected to be dominated with some of the malt flavor. It's considered an American stout or a sweet stout. It's actually brewed with cinnamon, lactose, and blackberries. So really some unique things taking place. Beer Advocate gives this an 88 for very good. Rate Beer has a 94 overall with a 90 for style. Now for those that are the health conscious, one of these 12-ounce cans, by the way, 240 calories. So if you're trying to watch your figure, you may not want to roll with this beer, but if you want to try a good beer, this is actually one to take a look at. So nice commemorative can. And MadTree here in Cincinnati does all their things in cans, so that's kind of a unique thing with them. Them and also Rheingeist are both that way. Go ahead and crack this baby open. We're actually going to use a snifter glass here. Get a nice little pour in. Pour out. Pour a little more aggressively at the end to give it a little bit of a head there. Now usually this one will pour at least a 2-finger head. A little short of that because I started off pouring a little smoother. We didn't run into that in the beginning. So in the end, it does pour a nice head. The head itself is a beige or tan colored head. Nice little bit of rockiness to it. Holds together really well. You know, as you'll see as I drink this, that it does seem to leave good lacing most of the time. The color on it is dark. Not many beers, I like to say jet black, but this is probably as close to jet black as you can get. Got a nice dark chestnut brown that you're not seeing anything through there at all. As far as condition, I believe their beers are filtered. I've never come across any sediment in the glass, but being in a can, not something I can usually tell. As far as anything else with this, as far as the look of it, it's really just a pretty dark beer. And with this one, you kind of want to let it sit when you can. I let this one sit out for about 10-15 minutes already, but when you let it sit, it opens up more of the flavors that are involved with the collaboration on this beer. As far as the aroma, nice malt sweetness as expected to come off this one. You're getting the blackberries that come off. You're getting some of the smell of the toffee. You're getting kind of a breadiness with it. You're really getting a moderate to heavy dose of the malt, so you're not having to really sniff too hard to really get that out of the beer. And you're also getting some of that coffee and chocolate on the back end of there too. So really a delightful package of the flavors and the aroma that takes place with this beer. As far as anything else that may stick out, maybe a little bit of a toffee and a candy sweetness. Almost some of that licorice type smell with it too. But overall, very pleasant aroma. As for the taste, it's good. So on the initial taste, you're getting a moderate kind of a sweetness. You're also getting a little bit of a, I want to say kind of like a light to moderate acidic taste on the beer that is kind of out there. You're getting also some sourness. As you take the drink, you can kind of taste a little bit of the sour taking place, a little bit of the tart that's taking place there from the flavors that were put into it. I'm not picking up as much of the cinnamon. Not getting as much of the cinnamon as you would kind of expect, but overall on the taste, it is a pretty good texture. It is a little bit watery, but it has a creaminess to the texture, which you would kind of expect with the stout. As you look at the glass, as I mentioned, you have some of the lacing taking place, so it's definitely doing well in that regard. The carbonation isn't overly heavy or anything like that. The carbonation is pretty soft on this one. It's not anywhere near flat or anything. It's just a comfortable mouthfeel that you have with it, and there's not any carbonation that's hitting you where you're feeling that you're about to belch as you're enjoying this one. Definitely a great beer to have to sip as you go. You don't want to chug, like I said, too many of these coming in. 8%, not for me usually a heavier ABV. I can usually go a lot higher, but it's one, when I have one of these, I want to just sit, enjoy. It's a great dessert beer. If you're having some type of dessert you could have with it, or you can have it as a dessert. Good way to kind of start to wind down for the evening. So overall, it's a very good beer. It's one that's done very well. I mentioned the ratings of Rate Beer being at 94 and Beer Advocate at 88. That's about kind of the right ballpark. If you put it on a scale of 0 to 5, I'd probably look at it overall being around a 4.25 in that area. It's come down a little bit. The more stouts I've tried, I had at one point I thought probably about a 4.5, but in the way the stouts are set up, I would say probably about 4.25, somewhere in that area. But if you've had this beer before, definitely hit the comment section. Let me know what you thought of it, what your experience was with it. But overall, it's a nice, pleasant beer. I don't know when they're bringing it back out. Like I said, I've actually got these cellared in my basement. One of my local places here that I've often mentioned, Depth's Fine Wines, they actually do a lot of different things for closeouts. And with stouts and beers that are over 8%, porters, things along those lines, brown ales, you're able to cellar those a little easier. So I was able to get a case of these for deal, because just a 4-pack of these is usually around $12.99. So great deal, great beer. If you get a chance, check it out. That's MadTree, the BlackTart. Make sure you like, subscribe if you like what you saw here in the video. Make sure you comment if you've had it. I want to, like I said, hear some feedback and see what you may have thought of this beer. But overall, a great malty stout that has some sweetness to it, has a little bit of sour with the tart, but a nice, comfortable kick back, take off your shoes, put up your feet, relaxing beer. Cheers.